Hello Diggers, welcome to our short video where we would like to announce a very important news regarding the final end of Flash version of the game. My name is Eva, I'm your community manager, and with me here is Filip, one of the producers of Diggy's adventure.
Hello.
So Filip, first of all, thank you very much for joining us today, and how are you?
Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure being with you.
Okay, so please tell us, what is the plan now? WebGL version was introduced in February this year, I believe, and the game has been running in two versions since then.
Yes, in dual operations.
Yes, and so what is the plan with Flash now?
With majority of browsers discontinuing the support of Flash Player, we have decided after long and very thorough thought to turn off the Flash version of the game on 7th of January 2020.
Okay, so this date is set in stone, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So can you please shed some light on why it's necessary to cut the Flash version off?
Yeah, with the Flash stopped being supported by the browsers and also by Adobe itself, we had to decide what we want to do with the desktop version of the game, and mainly because of the players who are playing and preferring this version instead of mobile, and many of them being with us for many years, some of them from the very beginning.
Yes, that's true.
So we were standing in front of two options, one being to shut down the desktop version altogether, and second being the migration or transfer to a new technology. We choose the latter. However, it was more difficult, but we would like to keep players with the option to play the game on the platform they choose.
Okay. Why are these two versions different?
There are two or few answers to the question. One being that the technologies are somehow different. Some things that were possible and available on Flash are not on the WebGL and vice versa. And the second being that we wanted to have the desktop version and the mobile app more consistent, closer together. So it will be much easier and much better for players who choose to play cross-platform.
So what can players expect? This is the good part, Diggers, right? Listen very carefully.
We wanted the transition to be as smooth as possible. We know that no one of us likes changes. And that's why we started, and we talked a lot to our players about our vision, about our plans with the WebGL, long before we even released the first WebGL version to players mentioned in February.
Yeah.
And we keep getting and collecting all the feedback from you, which we would like to thank you all. Big thanks to anyone who find the time to send any suggestion or feedback on the WebGL or on the game itself. It's the only way for us to keep closer to you and to keep improving the game on whatever platform it is to be the best possible experience for you.
So, what can players, expect in more detail? I mean, you mentioned that a few features there will be new in this upcoming month.
For example, we already can see the advantage of WebGL in the loading time.
Yeah, the loading time is much faster
it's
in WebGL.
Significantly faster. And also we are finishing the rework of the Camp Underground, which was long awaited, and it comes from the mentioned feedback and suggestions from you. And currently we are looking into another very pressing matter, I would say, and that being the possibility to bring Diggy's Flash visual to WebGL client.
Oh, players are gonna be so happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. it's gonna be awesome.
We are very sorry that it took us so long to address these two main things, but at the same time we are trying to keep the game fresh, to keep you busy with new events, and that we don't want to hurry these two things, so that's why we're keeping it from you for a longer time than we would like to.
So thank you very much, Philip, for explaining to us why it's necessary to cut the Flash version off.
Anytime.
To sum it all up for you, Diggers, Flash version of the game will be cut off on January 7th, 2020. This is sadly something we cannot influence because Flash as the technology will be discontinued by its own developer. However, you can look forward to some new features, like Philip mentioned, the rework of your underground or in your camps, so it's gonna be awesome. And also the visuals of Diggy will be much more like in Flash version of the game. So thank you very much again for joining us, and stay tuned for more information on our social media channels.
Yeah.
Until then, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.